Our weekly live stream. Hey, first off, sorry for taking a week off. We had some things going on.
Yeah, just a few things. And we figured if you're here in the US, like Labor Day weekend, maybe people were barbecuing or doing whatever it is you do on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
But yes, we had a big eventful weekend last weekend.
I know we're really excited. We're going to go over the agenda in a second, but for those following our channel, we felt we owed it to everybody to let you know why we're off a week, and to introduce you to the newest member of our team who may or may not be affecting our upload schedule over the next few weeks, / months / maybe years. So this is Elena Violet. She's the newest member of the team. And depending on how much she feels like cooperating this evening, she may or may not make an appearance.
Depending, yeah.
Or Aaron may make a disappearance. So that's what's going on. So if Aaron disappears in a hurry, that's what's going on. All right, let's go back. So really excited for the stream. We have a great agenda for this evening. One of the first things we're going to do is introduce the latest artist going to Miami TCG Con, a surprise artist guest this evening. We have a couple of other artists joining us as well. It'll be a great panel for the first 30 minutes or so, moderated by not only us, but
the Inkwell himself, Jonti, is joining us this week as our co-host,
which is super exciting. And we'll bring him in a second. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to talk a bit about some of the release goings on, the second release or third release or whatever release we're on, and what's going on there. We're going to bring in another content creator, a new content creator, and we're going to close up by talking to one of the moderators or the admins from one of the biggest buy-sell trade groups on Facebook to talk about some of the things they're seeing in the secondary market and how people can protect themselves buying and trading online, and some advice there. And we'll also, I know some of you are here for this, we have a giveaway we're going to do.
We do have a giveaway this week.
And it's going to be in the latter half of the show. We're going to be giving away a work together signed by legendary Disney animator Peter Raimundo, who will be at Miami TCG Con. That'll go to somebody here watching on the stream. We're going to ask a trivia question. The first person to post in the comments the answer will get it. It's not super scientific. It's a little scientific.
Yeah.
And so I hope everybody's good.
Just by coincidence happened to be very on theme for our artist teaser this week. So
maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it's not. But without further ado, let's get into our agenda. Let's welcome first our guest moderator for the stream, Jonti from the Inkwell.
Hi, Jonti.
Hey, folks. I don't know what is going on. Neither of you look sleep deprived. And you should both.
Fake it till you make it.
Makeup.
Right? Yeah, that's it. A bit of blush sorts it all that, doesn't it? Congratulations. I know we've already spoke, but congratulations. She's incredible. And I wish you all the best with her. It's so much fun.
And welcome back home to you. You had like a whirlwind Disney trip.
Yeah, I worked it out the other day. I spent 4 days of August at home because it was Gen Con, and then we got back from that. A couple of days at home, and then I timed it perfectly, left on the launch of Lorcana, LGS launch, and then arrived back home on the big box launch of Lorcana. We had 2 weeks in Walt Disney World, which was amazing. Wasn't much of a Lorcana showing there, honestly. They did have the release while I was there, but I didn't go to it. They had starter decks and gift sets, and I got my fill of those already, so I'd much rather them go to other people. So it was a quiet Lorcana fair there, honestly. I think in the future it's going to be a much bigger deal. I think once they get their feet under them and they get the product being produced to the level it needs to be, I can see Lorcana being a bigger thing at the parks. But this time it was a little bit of a fizzle, really. Unfortunately, but
did you? I saw you did. Did you get some of the characters to sign their cards?
I did. I got the sort of Fab Four. I got a Mickey, a Goofy, a Donald, and a who's the other one? Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, and Donald to sign. Met Daisy Duck, but unfortunately she didn't have a card for me to do yet. And then we got Anna and Elsa as well to do,
Oh,
and the
nice.
6 of them is going to be a giveaway on the channel at some point. As soon as I can get my feet under myself, I still feel like I'm doing laundry and stuff from the trip. So
Yeah,
We know about laundry right
excessive
now.
amounts of laundry.
yeah,
Totally
all
understand.
those muslin cloths and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, in there, done that.
They get dirty quick.
Yes.
We're learning.
She is off to my left, so if everybody like keeps seeing me turn to my left, it's because she's like making noises and like, please don't start crying.
But it might happen. It might happen. Well, this is fun. Well, we're excited to have you, Jonti, with us this evening. You know, we'll have you for the whole time, and we're excited to get your opinion on the launch later. But first, you know, I think we'll move in the first half of the show.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce the newest artist going to Miami TCG Con?
I would love to. So I know we posted a photo of one of Elena's stuffies on Twitter.
We did actually.
Twitter and YouTube, and it's her llama stuffy, and a lot of people, there you go, a lot of people guessed that we were doing something around the Emperor's New Groove, which is semi on brand, but we are super excited to announce the latest artist joining us in Miami is Peruvian artist Juan Diego Leon. Welcome, Juan Diego.
Hey guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very hyped to go to the event, you know, and see the cards and everything. Yeah, and meet you all.
We're so excited to have you. It's so wonderful to meet you. We haven't had an opportunity to meet you just yet. Oh yeah, Liam just threw up all of Juan Diego's amazing art.
Yeah.
I know so many people we meet talk about your Timon art and the color composition you use there. But we'd love to know, you know, first and foremost, one thing we do on our channel when we invite an artist on is ask you to kind of introduce yourself to all of your new Lorcana fans and tell them a little bit about who you are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm Juan Diego Leon. I'm from Peru. I've been an illustrator like since a lot of years. I've been working in the industry in animation, video games, since 2008, more or less. So it's a lot of years. And right now it's like I've been working in some of other countries, like movies and stuff. And then I had the opportunity to work for Lorcana. And it was very nice because I don't play that much card games, but I have some friends that are very, very fans of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! So it was like, oh, that's very nice if I'm going to do something for Disney and if they are going to make a project like this. And well, the first card that I received was Timon, actually. And then it was like, oh, this is like a dream come true, you know? It's like to graduate and draw something for Disney for a card game. So yeah, I was very, very hyped, very excited. And also I couldn't say anything until this release, you know? So yeah, I'm happy right now that everything goes very well. Yeah.
As content creators, we sometimes get little tidbits of a couple of weeks before everyone else. You know, we'll get info maybe a week or two before, and that's hard enough. But I imagine for yourself, you know, probably, you know, months and months, maybe even a year almost, I imagine, of work on this before it makes it to the public. So that must be very difficult to have something so exciting that you want to share, but obviously can't. Yeah, it must be tough.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing that, and yes, right now I'm working for Lorcana, and let's see what happens in the future. And I'm very happy to go to the event because, well, I've never been in Miami, so it's my first time in Miami, and also to see how this event like goes. You know, I know it's going to be crazy. I'm very hyped for that.
So another benefit of going is you're going to get to meet other Lorcana artists. We have to ask.
Exactly. Yes.
Have you met anyone else working on the game?
No, because we've been working in our houses, you know, and I'm in Peru, so I received my cards, and that was it. And sometimes we had some like meetings where every artist like joined. Some of them like put the camera on, some of them no, you know. So I've seen some faces, you know, but there was a lot of artists, and if I can meet them like in person, it's like amazing, you know, for me at least.
Would you like to meet a couple right now?
Yes, please. I'm here for this.
We are happy to bring in a couple other artists. We're going to call this a South American artist roundtable. From Brazil, we're going to bring in Ariweli. Ari, how's it going?
Hello.
Hey, Harry.
I'm going well. What about you?
Harry.
And from Colombia,
Hello.
one of our favorite artists, Christian Romero.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
Hey.
This is awesome. It's so much fun to have you all in one spot. It's been fun, doing a lot of these panels because, we realized very early on that all of you Lorcana artists kind of worked in your own little,
Yeah.
spaces, and now is the first time you're really getting to interact and meet each other. So it's kind of neat.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Juan Diego.
Yeah, I was going to say like there was a time when we make a meeting with all the artists, and I suggest like very like shy. What about if we make a group or something so we can meet each other? Because for me it's nice if I can meet other artists that are working in the project, but for that time it was a secret, so no one knew who was working because of the NDAs and everything. So yeah. But now
Yeah,
it's nice to know who is here.
we should make it happen.
Yeah.
Great.
So
Oh.
one question I love, and we talked to Christian a little bit about this when we first got to meet him, but you are the only Peruvian artist represented in this first chapter of Lorcana. I'd love to know, from you kind of what it means to be representing your country and your community or your culture in this way.
Well, actually, now that you are saying this, I'm figuring that out. But yeah, well, that's amazing. It's an honor always when we can represent our countries, our communities in these kind of big projects. Because I've been working a lot. I know a lot of friends in here that they have been working a lot through the years to make stuff, to make big stuff, And when we have these opportunities, I know it's very nice for us, and also because this can bring maybe more opportunities for people in my country. So that's very nice, and also for South American people, Christian, maybe we have the same opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
so
much the same thing I said. Yeah.
Yeah, one of
copy paste.
the artists, like there is another artist from Brazil, it's Maddie Boogie. I think you've seen it, and it was so fun when I found out that they were in it together. So I was like, oh my god! We started chatting.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's nice.
it was.
Yeah. We need more Colombian and Peruvian artists so that y'all can each have a country.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
And
I have some recommendations.
Hopefully, a Latin American release of the game at some point as well. Let's get
that would be
these cards
great.
in Spanish and get them down to you guys.
I'm waiting to have some cards in here.
So I'm quite interested in the logistics of all this, and I imagine maybe some of the stuff is still kind of tied up in contracts and things you can't talk about. So if I ask anything that you can't answer, just tell me to shut up. That's fine. And Juan already sort of suggested this, but you've all done art for multiple cards. When you were first approached, do they kind of say, "Oh, here's 4 cards we want you to do," or is it one, and then based on that you might get a second and a third? Do you kind of get all of the cards in one go, or do you work on one at a time?
Well, it was, for me at least, was one at a time, because you have received one card, and I suppose that they can see if you are working in a way that it can work, and if they know that your work is good, that you're doing it great, and you have, I don't know, you work fast, maybe they can give you another one. I don't know how it have been working with other artists, but I suppose it's kind of the same.
Yeah. They give they always ask if you have time for another or something but I'm always between 2, 1. Sometimes I'm doing 3 at the same time, but it's not a good choice.
Yeah, no, that's not good. Trust me. Depends on the time.
For me, every time they say, "Do you want to make one card?" Yes, it's like immediately.
Then find the time.
Smash the enter button.
Yeah. I imagine they maybe see your strengths and then find things that sort of fit there. Like Eri, for instance, you've done quite a few items, so they obviously, is that something you've done a lot before? Sort of non-biological things, I guess. With is that a specialty of yours, or?
Actually, I think one thing I realized from the cards I've been given is that they give me they give they give me male characters mostly, because I think I have a lot of male characters on my Instagram, so maybe
Right.
they think
Okay.
I mean, actually, I do like drawing male characters much more because I think they are easier for me. Maybe for this reason, they just give me male characters, and I just think it's cool. I just realized that sometimes I think they have this kind of, I don't know, they choose based on that. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm just guessing. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, sometimes it just feels really random. It's just like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
take this card. It's like, okay.
The
but
other thing
they always ask if you really want that, because you
Yeah.
can say no if you want. And
I've never
I
said
think-
no, but I'm sure.
Yeah,
You
Yeah, me
could
too.
theoretically say no.
I could.
Yeah.
I should, but yeah, no.
the other thing I've always wanted to ask artists who work on something like a TCG: do you have any idea now whether the cards you've done art for are good or not? And is that something that you think about, or is that something that bothers you as to whether or not your art actually sort of is a strong card or not?
Well, I've played a little bit of Magic: The Gathering, so I know kind of like what's good, what's bad. But the thing is, like, I've never played Lorcana, so I don't know what the rules of the game are. So
Yeah.
I'm like completely lost.
Would it bother you, do you think, if you had a good card or a bad card that you'd done art for?
It'd be really nice if there was one card that I made that was like meta defining or something. I would love that. Yeah, because people would like buy it and get it and be like, oh, I made that art, that would be kind of nice, of course. But honestly, the fact that I'm already like in the game and I have cards in the game, I'm happy with that. I don't really mind if they are played that much or not, because I already can be like, yeah, I was in Lorcana, I did this, and I was really happy with that, regardless of like if the card is good or bad. Yeah.
Well, I'm very chill if my cards suck, actually. So, I'm going to be very happy to have them, and yeah, well, I've seen some unboxings actually, so I can see, where people find my
people
cards.
think.
It's like, because I want to see my cards like in a hand of someone. I don't know.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've seen like they have like 3 or 4 Timons, in some of the boosters, and it was like, oh, Timon is kind of common.
But amazing art.
But
Yeah,
gorgeous art.
but then when I figured out like Hades is going to be like a special card, it was like, oh yeah, that's very nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm more worried about if I do like that character or not. Like for me, especially, I'm doing right now. Obviously, I cannot say, but right now I'm doing like a really special character for me. Although the card itself is not really, I think it's a common card. But for me, it's special because I do like that character, and I feel like I do like those kind of things. I don't really feel like, because I'm not really like in any game, I'm not really competitive, so I'm never like thinking about rarity or anything. But
it's interesting. I'm sorry. It's interesting that you know that as you're doing the art, though, that like that you're given mechanically what the card does.
Yes,
as part of your brief.
Kind of. Sometimes it's part of the brief, but I think they don't give you everything. They just give you like what they think it's gonna be, but like I think it might be subject to change at some point. Like I've seen some things that they write and then they completely change the card at the end. So it's basically just so you get like a bit of reference. But yeah.
Yeah, and also it's not like they're going to say this is only a common, so don't try too hard. You know, like all the art should be your best work, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't really like read that. I don't even be like, oh, that's gonna be legendary. I'm gonna like
do
beat
better.
best. I'm just like thinking everything is gonna be epic or whatever the top standard is. Yeah.
I think with Lorcana, it's a bit similar to something like Pokemon as well, where there are a lot of people who are very interested in how the cards look, as well as the gameplay. Like the first thing I did was get one of every card just for a collection, you know, and then I started to worry about what is good to play, you know. Like for me, how the cards look is just as important as which ones are good or not, you know. So
it was fun to see people like showing Tangle, the one I've done, and like this card is so beautiful, but it's not really useful.
Yeah, I feel like you have to separate it, right? You have to separate what you've done and what the card is. Yeah, but you also got Lantern, which is very strong.
I was just about to say Liam has used Lantern against me, and it's so
Oh no.
All of you got, you know, some decently playable cards, which is fun.
Oh, really? That's great to hear.
Yeah,
I think I have to double check. Yeah, Genie's playable. Yeah, Genie's great.
Yeah. Genie,
great.
Hades,
Lantern, Hades. Hades will get better, I think, as time goes on. Beautiful card.
I do apologize, Eri. I have joked in the past on videos when the cards have been revealed. I can just imagine an artist sitting there and getting an email saying, "We want you to do Disney. You know, Disney want art from you." And you must be sitting there thinking, "Oh, do I get to draw Mickey Mouse? Do I get to draw Elsa?" And they like, "We want a fork."
That was when I thought maybe it was a scam, because it's not. They don't want to show any characters because they are not really Disney.
It's not legit. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, no. I mean, it's a beautiful fork, but it's
It's really
it is a beautiful fork.
The best fork. There's a lot of great questions in the chat. Not enough time to go through them all, but there's one that I really like, and it shows up when we do this artist stream. And it's for each of you. Do you have a favorite piece of art in the set, you know, that you've seen that's not one that you created? Is there one that really resonates with you that you'd like to call out and draw attention to, that's not one of yours?
I like a lot the rock Stitch that is with the guitar. When I saw that card, I was like, oh, I want this in foiled, you know? That would be nice. And also the Mickey Mouse that made Nicholas Cole, the one with that's very nice. That's very nice. Yeah.
Bacon, lettuce, tomato, Mickey.
Yeah.
So Samanga is going to be in Miami, so you'll get to meet him.
Nice.
He did the rock.
Yeah.
Christian, how about you?
So many actually. I don't know. I would say, well, I talked to you guys last time, and I was like, I love the Timon that Juan Diego made.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I did. I was like,
that their favorite card that they didn't do was Juan Diego's Timon, and I was like, who was that?
That's true, Juan. We have that on video.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a clip of this. You know, this clip I'm going to introduce.
Yeah, I love that. Honestly, there are so many cards. I would say Cookies, Tinkerbell, Matthews, Hades. Honestly, there are so many. I can't really put a finger on which one I like best, because I like all of them in separate different ways. So, yeah. Oh, so many.
Yeah, I think I've said it already. I do like the piece from Cookies. It's so nice when I saw that.
That one's great as well.
Yeah, when I saw that the first time, I was like, oh my god, I have to level up my own art. This is really, really good.
Yeah,
and he's really incredible. Yeah, it's awesome.
It is interesting. One of the things I do like about this first set is, although they did try to create a cohesive modern storybook design, you can tell with some of the artists and a lot of the artists that they really let their particular styles shine through. So you see it a lot with Cookie, with Coney, with Jeff Murchie, I think. and some of the others.
Mel Milton too.
Mel Milton's Mulan. And so we really hope they keep doing that and allow you all to kind of like, you know, show your individual style in the cards.
Yeah, I think there is no way we cannot be showing this kind of individual thing, because there is, even though we have pretty strict like ways to do this and that, we always have that tiny thing that looks like us, like individually. So I think it's
but that's the appeal, right?
Yeah.
Like if they didn't want that, they could have just, you know, used screenshots from movies or kept it all developed in house in Disney Animation Studios. The selling point of Lorcana, I think personally, is that it does sort of have the base Disney look, but it's just pushing against the edge of that bubble, you know. And I hope in fact that in future sets it gets pushed even more and we start to see more sort of variation in the art style.
And we always have like different ways to see stuff. Like when I receive some description, and sometimes the card comes with a lot of description, like a lot of things to put on the image, and then I do like option A, option B, and then option C, I do like a little off the description, but more like this is the way I would do that, and mostly they would choose C. Like
that's
they
good.
do like
Yeah.
the way like you will see something because you've watched the film, and you just think sometimes taking off stuff, it makes the visual more appealing. And this is just my idea of a illustration. And when you have so many people describing an illustration, sometimes when you do it on the canvas, you will have your own choices, and then it end up like, and they really are willing to take our insight on the illustration. I do like that.
Yeah, that's nice. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And also I've seen like that we have these rules, you know, to make the cards, but also if you see the cards, you can, for example, in my case, I can see this is from that person, this is from that, you can recognize, you know.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
we have the same kind of rules for everything, but also you can recognize like the spirit or someone, you know, and that's something I like a lot.
And obviously Disney are famously very protective of their brand, right? And I imagine you probably, I feel like you probably get a lot more notes on how a character is drawn from Disney than you may have got from other companies. Juan especially, is it nerve-wracking drawing Mickey Mouse? I feel like that must be like kind of nervous to do, eh? Because you got to get it right.
Yes, and also because it was like the classic, you know, Steamboat. Yeah. And I was at first time when I see the card, it was like, no way, you know, it's like I'm doing this Mickey Mouse, like the original. Was okay. I make like a lot of different versions of this Mickey Mouse, and it was like this version. But the process was very, very fun because we tried to go with something more modern, something more classic, something more like kind of volumetric, you know. So and it was like very nice because I received a lot of good feedback from the team. And well, at the end, it was a very beautiful card, and I was every time like the card was more beautiful with more stuff, more colorful. I was like, oh, this is looking great, and I can't say anything, you know, until this releases. But yeah, at the end, it was a very beautiful card. This is one of my favorites from the set that I made. It's one of my favorites actually.
And it appeared on a playmat. So
I was about to say it's like the playmat that I want so badly, and it's so hard to find. We cannot find a playmat anywhere.
No.
So gorgeous.
Do you guys have any knowledge of that kind of thing? If they plan to use art on, accessories or anything like that, or is it as much as a surprise to you as it is to when we see them?
It was a surprise.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Interesting. One question. So Juan, somebody asked, did they tell you to specifically put Emerald Mickey in the steering wheel? Was that the scene they set up for you?
Well, yeah, the card was an emerald card, and the approach that I had was something different. But then they told me like, what about if you change more? You know, you can experiment more with the background. And it was like, and they sent me some rough sketches, and I understand the idea. It was, okay, do you want for me to go crazy with this? Because at the beginning I was kind of, very very shy with the shapes. I want to go very go with the original kind of feel that was very geometric, like very basic. But then they told me, yeah, no, try to go with crazy with the emerald theme, and it was okay. And then we make some sketches, and when we put some color and it was looking nice, I was okay. I'm going to go this a better render, for this, and then going to show them. And yeah, it worked very nice. When they saw that, they was like, oh, this is very cool, And it was, yeah, I know that, but it was because of the feedback that you gave me. So yeah, the end it worked. And also, when we have the Mickey Mouse like in black and white, I think it was very nice because we can have this contrast,
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say I imagine we'll never see them, but I would be fascinated to see the design notes that you guys get regarding the ink, the what each ink means, how each ink is displayed, because I think you could pretty much take any piece of art from the set and you could tell what color card it is. I honestly think that like pretty much everyone, and not just because of the color palette, it's because of the those sort of whooshy lines that Emerald has. So I'd be fascinated to see what they give you. We won't, I know, but I would love to.
Yeah, I would love to see like an art book from Lorcana.
Yes, the art of Lorcana.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Maybe when they made the art of Lorcana, they can show all of this process.
Yeah,
I'm actually quite colorblind. I have tritanopia, so color is not a good thing for me. But you could show me a piece of art and I could tell what color it's from just because of how all of those sort of pieces work together. It's really strong. Yeah, it has a very, very strong identity. Each of the colors already, only within the first set, it has a really strong.
That's great.
Yeah. Amazing.
What's interesting is when we talked with Matthew Robert Davies a couple of weeks ago, he was talking about just a little bit of how the Lorcana team's like vision, one day you were talking about the background of your Mickey and how when they first started creating the art for the game, they were going with really, really subtle backgrounds, and they really just wanted the character or the item to shine. And a lot of the early art was just kind of this like amorphous background. And then it sounds like as the game continued to evolve, Ravensburger got more interested in creating the surrounding world around the characters. And so you're seeing, the ship that your Mickey is on, and in Nick Cole's like Aladdin piece, you're seeing that Agrabah scene in the background and that sort of thing. It's just interesting to look at the evolution of the art even within chapter 1 as Ravensburger was kind of finding their footing with what they wanted the art for this game to be.
Yes, and I've seen that maybe it's a process that we as an artist we've been part of, and we've seen well, actually I've seen the process of how well these first cards that we made is kind of different of the approach, kind of a little bit, different from the approach that we have right now. And it's very cool to see because everything is like more how can I say, like more solid, in terms of shapes, colors, concepts, and everything. So that's very cool.
Yeah, I think Ravensburger it's like learning with us, and we are learning with them. It's a process we are making. And when I think we finished the first chapter, I think the second was much easier to do because we could see other people's artworks and was like, oh, this could be fun. This could not be fun. This could be fun. And then we were like learning together what to do for the next one. And I think with anything like involving art, we always like evolve on the process, and it's the thing like listening to the artist and listening to the directors at the same time, and
Yeah, totally agree as well. I think the game is like constantly evolving as well. I've seen like other people's art as well, and it just keeps just like evolving for the better. And I think in the future, like I think the cards we have right now, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know it's the future, but I'm pretty sure the art itself could evolve as well. That'll be awesome because you can already see like the cards changing, and it's only the first set, which is crazy. Yeah,
that's amazing.
And
oh, go ahead, Ari.
When you have like so many things already done, we always can use it as reference. Like, oh, I'm going to do like a tree, and someone had done a tree right in the past, and I was like, oh, there's this tree that Disney really liked, so you could go in that route. So that's makes it easier for us, I guess.
No, I love those thoughts, and we're super excited to see what comes out in set 2 and beyond. Somebody did ask a question earlier about whether you all were working on set 2 cards, and I would ask, but I know the answer is possibly, because you all are working on art and you have no idea what set it's going to be, etc. So I think we have more to see from all of you. We do need to wrap the first segment. Thank you all so much for joining us. Before you all go, I want to make sure that everybody watching can follow each one of you. So I want to go around the table and say, first, Juan, how can people follow you on social media?
Well, I'm more active in Instagram. You can find me as Juan Diego Leon or jd.art because it's kind of my name. That's more or less. But Juan Diego Leon is more easy.
And we'll link you in the description as well. Kristen, how about you?
Mine, you can find me at it's kind of hard, but it's Weiyao Art. It's like WEIAO Art. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, it's really hard to spell.
And Ari?
For me, it's easy. Like Ari Valley, there is no Ari Valley everywhere. If you find an Ari Valley somewhere, probably it's me. It's always like
it's nice, eh?
If it's like there is like Ari Valley and Ari Valley 2, I am both of them.
I'm gonna go make Ari Valley 76 now.
Yeah, growing up, I always begrudged my mother calling me Jonti Sparrow, but it's great now because there's no other Jonti Sparrow. I get every handle on every website. It's so handy, eh?
And it's nice and phonetic.
Yeah.
But thank you all for joining us. I always hate saying bye to all of you whenever we chat, but
we'll see you in like a little over a month.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
All right.
Really excited.
Have a great night, y'all.
Bye-bye.
And there were 2.
I'm very jealous of you all going to Miami.
Give us some cards. We'll get them signed.
I will. Yeah, I need to speak to you about that. Actually, I'm going to send a load over. I did look into doing it. Like logistically, it's possible, but I'm not allowed to leave the country again.
Okay.
As part of a Canadian residency, you have to spend so much of every 5 years in Canada, and I've kind of hit the threshold now because I've been going back and forth to the UK a lot with work and stuff. So, and obviously coming down to the States for stuff. So yeah, they're like, no, you're good in Canada for a bit now, thank you.
Please chill a little.
Yeah.
No, that's fun. No, I always love those artist segments. They're so much fun.
It's great to hear them, and you can tell how sort of obviously how passionate and art they are with it, but also like you can hear a bit of relief in them that they can talk about this now, because it's most probably has been a year, maybe even longer, that they've had to sort of keep all this bottled up, so it must be so nice for them to be able to come on and actually sort of start getting some adulation and praise and conversation about all this stuff, so it's really great to see.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so funny too, because a year for some, more for others. And it's funny when you talk to a lot of them, they had no idea what this was when they started. Some of them got the note and they were like, all right, Ravensburger wants me to do is Disney art. It must be a puzzle. I'm making a puzzle.
Yeah. Or I wonder if because I know a few guys have done some villainous stuff, right? Because that's all new art as well. So yeah, you wonder how much of it, maybe they just thought it was like a new update on that.
Yeah.
No, it's fun.
No. I was gonna say I wanted to just take a quick minute to talk about Jonti's most recent video before we jump into the
briefly.
next segment.
We have a couple more guests to bring on, which I'm really excited for. But we do want to transition now from the art. Good suggestion.
Yeah.
To talk about this past couple of weeks. There's a lot of emotion right now, and we wanted to highlight for people watching. Jonti, you had a great video that at least gets a discussion going. This is my favorite screenshot. Talking about the way that different game stores handled the release, and some that may have done it well and some that may not have done it well, and I don't know, I just said open it up to you, and for people who haven't watched your video, what are your just broad thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. The name is maybe a little clickbaity, but we're all doing this YouTube grind. We all get what we have to do,
algorithm,
right? But no, I do think for the most part, obviously, lack of product first and foremost has been the biggest issue with the launch of the game, with the game full stop. I think, honestly, if anyone, the only real negative anyone can really say about the thing so far is that there's just not enough of it, and it's a nice problem to have, I guess. But obviously Ravensburger were very aware of this problem. You go back to look at, you guys were at Gamma, or Liam at least was at Gamma. Even back then, before any sort of distribution was spoke about, they knew, they were like, there isn't going to be enough of this. We're going to be honest with you, but we are going to be doing our best to get the majority of it into stores that are focused on getting people playing, because they feel like that was the most important thing. And I'll be honest with you, then a few months later, that was great to hear as a manager of a game store. That was great to hear. But then a few months later, when we started to get numbers of how much we were getting, it started to sound like lip service, because we were like, oh, that's the majority, is it? Oh yeah, I bet. And and all the way through, I was sitting there thinking, well, let's go and see what Walmart gets in a couple of weeks. But it turns out, no, it was. Most of it went to game stores. It just wasn't that much. And unfortunately, the 2-week window for game stores that was meant to be, I feel, was meant to be a way to kind of stop that Black Friday feeling and scalpers running into Walmart and grabbing it. It was meant to be a way of actually saying, no, let's get this in people's hands who are going to be wanting to play it, wanting to collect it. And unfortunately, it seems like a lot of game stores just used it as a way to ride on the FOMO and charge to the roof for it. And it's been so disappointing to see. And I, maybe that video came across a little bit like, well, I'm not like all the game stores, but like we genuinely, I feel like at least we've genuinely tried to do what Ravensburger wanted us to do, which is get the product out to as many people as possible and to the people who are interested in playing. And it's working for us. Unfortunately, I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter being, if you go look at Ravensburger's tweets at the minute, for instance, they put a tweet out today about Hades, just a little fluff piece, just to kind of keep, Twitter popping up or whatever. On all the comments are like, well, it'd be great if I could get any, and the fact of the matter is it's just not out there. Yeah, I had 48 people playing in my store on Saturday. And the only thing that gets close to that is Friday night Magic the Gathering. And even that, it's about the same kind of numbers. So like if you can get cards into people's hands, people want to play this game and are happy playing this game and enjoying it. But we, like on Saturday morning, we had people who were coming up to us saying, we've drove 2 hours to come here today because we've seen online that you're running games and that you've got singles for sale and stuff,
Yeah.
So like people are desperate for it. It just breaks my heart that the game stores are still now trying to get like $40, $50 for starter decks, and it's just I don't understand how they think it's a good plan.
Yeah. Well, to talk about bringing more people into the community, let's go into our next guest, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
That was Jonti's downer section.
No, it was good. It was good. All thoughts that needed to be said, and that's why we asked the question. And everybody should go watch the video if you haven't watched it.
Yeah, you're right. We shouldn't dwell on it, but it is. I think it is a topic that we need to look at, and I hope doesn't see a repeat of it with set 2, but we'll see.
No, it's an important conversation. So on the subject of building community, like Aaron said, one of the things we love to do is introduce people to new content creators, streamers, and other people in the community. That's kind of what this podcast is, or live stream, or whatever we call it, is all about. And I want to introduce Ellen Thomas, who is an employee with Gem Accessories, who works on TCG products. She's a streamer. She's a longtime TCG player and did a post recently. I'm going to bring her in while I'm talking about her. Hey, Ellen.
Hello.
Ellen made a wonderful post on Facebook that observed that we're seeing a lot of new TCG players, a lot of new Lorcana fans joining like the gaming community who are new and who may have trouble navigating the space, and proposed, that she might do some streams in the near future to kind of introduce people to gaming and to welcome them in. So we wanted to meet you, Ellen, and yeah.
So hey, how's it going? That post that I made on Facebook was something that I made just like, I wonder if I could do this, and then it just kind of blew up, and I'm like, oh dang, and now I need to do it. So basically, I've seen a lot of card games come into the space. They come and they go because you always have your big three, your Pokemon, your Yu-Gi-Oh, your Magic, and then we have these newer games, and sometimes we do find that new people come into your local LGS store and they just like aren't a regular. They're new there. They don't know anybody there, or they bring their kids if they have families, and it's just like a completely different space that they're completely not ready for. So I'm like, hey, I usually am the one at my locals to talk to parents, to tell them like, this is how it works here. And I'm like, well, I should probably just do that online. So there's that, in addition to all the other things that I do.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So do you have a date in mind for the live stream?
I'm thinking sometime next month, maybe. Like I'm not entirely sure how long something like that would be, because there's a lot of subjects to talk about. However, if it is something that's successful, maybe like Tuesdays, I feel like that's a decent day for just like mostly what I would cater to is probably like parents and general information, not specifically Lorcana based, but just like card game related stuff in general. But maybe like Tuesdays or sometime during the week.
That's good. We like Tuesdays. Mondays we're don't do Mondays. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I don't want to step on any toes.
No, that's wonderful. Yeah, I saw the post as it was blowing up, and it was very, very, very clear that what you said resonated with a ton of people. And it's actually something we're going to talk with our next guest about too here in a few minutes. But yeah, you do have this really interesting like clash of people, brand new TCG players asking rules and terms like meta and how do I build a deck, with experienced players who are really excited to dive into competitive play. And there's this really weird it's not quite gelling yet, I don't think.
Yeah, there's like a weird mesh. Like there's people that currently play card games that are like, oh, Lorcana, new card game. Wow, I'll pick it up. Yeah. And then there's new people that are like, I just like the product. Mm-hmm. I like this. It's going to be like Pokemon for me because I love Disney. And then we also have like, oh, what's this? Card games, huh? I saw this on a YouTube. I just saw
one of those YouTubes.
Yeah, I just saw this dude on my For You feed, and I don't know what this is. And now my kid's obsessed with it. What do I do?
Managing those groups is one of the most difficult things I deal with as a game store manager. Yeah, and just then, because you want to try and make them all happy and you can't.
Yeah, and then I guess like in terms of other things that I do, it's like I know how to run a card store, I know how to do TCG player, I know how to do orders, fulfillment, online trades, doing artwork for the companies that I work for, just a little bit of everything. I'm like in that in between mesh spot between like casual player and like competitive player, but I also know how to do all the background stuff too. It's crazy.
No, that's awesome. No, that's great. And having that breadth of knowledge, that's why I was excited at the possibility of you streaming to follow you and to direct people to you, because one of the things that I love about the Lorcana space, and I think Jonti, you can echo this a bit, is from the beginning, most of the Lorcana content creators realize that everybody's got their own voice and their own niche, and that we as a community are better when we can each promote each other and direct people to the content creators and the people that resonate for them. And so the more voices we get in the community and streamers and everything, the better.
Yeah, massively so. I mean, I obviously enjoy how the cards look, but I'm not an art guy, and you guys have got that covered. I'm not a massively competitive player, so there are other channels out there who deal with that side of thing, and I kind of sit somewhere in the middle. I feel my thing is usually that I'm home when news comes out and I can get a video up quick. That's pretty much where I fell into my fell into my little sort of corner there.
You take a nap and you wake up, the whole market's crashed. It's like, what happened?
That's my niche. Did you say?
Niche.
Yeah, niche.
Yeah.
That's okay. You mean niche, but that's fine.
It's the Texas pronunciation.
Yeah.
You live in Yeehaw land too? Hey, howdy from Houston.
Oh, awesome. You're right down the road. We'll have to touch base sometime. We're in Austin, so.
Okay.
Awesome. So actually, that's a great segue. We still have the giveaway to do. We haven't forgotten about that yet, but I do have somebody else who's currently in Texas, even though he's not from here, that I want to introduce briefly. This is Frank Mark. Frank is the admin of one of the biggest buy-sell trade groups on Facebook. And I wanted to bring him in because with the lack of product that Jonti mentioned and the difficulty that everybody's having finding stuff right now, a lot of people have started to rely on the secondary market, and private sales on Facebook is where you can get decent prices. But because of that, there have been a lot of scammers that have jumped on recently. We're seeing some really weird manipulation in the market, and it's really, really easy if you don't do things right and protect yourself to end up losing money. And so I wanted to bring Frank in. Hey, Frank.
Hey, how are you guys?
Doing well. Thanks for joining us on the road.
Yeah, I'm the only one not inside of a home right now, so sorry about that. But yeah, it's good to see you guys.
True. Well, Jonti's the only one not in Texas right now, so we all have our.
This is true. Yeah, I'm representing the north.
Oh yeah.
North of the wall, Jonti.
Yeah.
North of the wall. Yeah.
So Frank, you're not just a mod of a buy sell trade group on Facebook. You're also a huge collector yourself, and I know you monitor these markets like almost religiously.
Yeah.
Can you talk briefly about what you're seeing in the Lorcana market, and then maybe some of the trends you've seen, and then also, as I mentioned, how should people who are maybe tempted for the first time to go through a private sale to acquire singles or sealed product, how should they go about it in a way that protects themselves?
Yeah, so I mean, just touching upon the protection side of things, I think, I tell everyone PayPal goods and services is probably the best way to pay. I also think, this is kind of a more unique tip, but I always pay with my bank account through PayPal. I never use my PayPal balance, because if someone does something stupid or they try to charge me back or whatever, at least I can go through my bank as well to try to, have them on board. If you use your PayPal balance, then you can't actually, get your bank involved, because it's just exclusively a PayPal issue. So for me, there's been situations where, I've been charged back as much as $8,000 in the past, like huge amounts. And I've had, PayPal not be as responsive as I would like. But being that I use my bank account through the PayPal transaction, I can go through my bank as well. So it kind of gives you, two angles to fight from, which I think is really ideal. So PayPal goods and services, to me, is by far the most safe. And if not that, then crypto. But I wouldn't use Zelle or Venmo or Cash App. It's just, for me, it's PayPal goods and services or crypto.
Interesting. So let's say hypothetically, somebody right now, we're like, I can't find like a booster box or an Lumineers Trove anywhere. I want to get one so I can open it, with my kids and family.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go through eBay because of prices or bidding or whatever. So they go to Facebook and they find, your marketplace. How would you suggest that from there, how do they go about finding the product that they need and then interacting with people?
So that's a tricky question, because I'm going to be honest with you. I personally don't feel comfortable buying boxes almost at all. The fact that the boxes aren't sealed and the fact that the packs can be weighed is kind of a problem to me. That's a really bad combination of things. But if I had to buy a box, I probably would exclusively buy it from someone that is really well known and has a lot more to lose than $400, So, but aside from that, I wouldn't be buying boxes, period. But in general, I think, when it comes to buying stuff in a private setting, you have to ask for references. You have to really do your homework. Which I think to me, that's the biggest stage of things. That step of the process of just making sure someone has references and getting to know them and having a conversation before you buy something from them is that goes, I would say, you'll be able to cut out like 98% of scammers that way.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the lack of shrink wrap on the boxes is a big concern?
That's a big problem, actually.
Yes.
If you don't mind me jumping in. It's a massive problem, and the reason why that is that, one, you always have resealing issues, and it's something that happened way back in the past. Is if you, especially for Magic back in the day, is that if you don't have branded shrink wrap, you can do essentially what you could do with any other product that doesn't have shrink wrap on it. It's just like fill it with a ton of bricks and just send it off. It weighs the same, I swear. Or you can fill it up with something else, or just put straight up bulk in it, or you can, reseal packs and things like that. So not having shrink wrap on it is just it's essentially just a liability to the company itself, because not only is it unsecure, that could be unsecure from the many hands that it goes through, from company to distributor to LGS, and then to the customer itself. There's so many hands it's touching at that point, to the point where, like, you don't know if those packs are going to be weighed. You don't know if all the good things are pulled out of it. What about my grandma somewhere trying to get something for my grandkids, and turns out that we didn't pull anything, or there's something else where it's filled with some other game. And that's like a big issue. And it's something that I would recommend Disney would actually need to solve, just by having branded shrink wrap.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like, I hate to be devil's. I love being devil's advocate. Or am I kidding? Like, I own a shrink wrap at work. I can send you links to a few places to buy Wizards branded shrink wrap right now.
We got them.
Right? I'm not saying I would, but like, it's like, for the people who genuinely, this is a big thing for, you can do it, right? Like, that's why I wouldn't recommend ever buying sealed Magic from Amazon, because of the problems of them collating all the product together, and it gets returned and what have you. So yes, it's more difficult, but it's only a few $100 more difficult, So I wonder whether something like a more like a holographic seal on the tear or something, and also the boxes are terrible, man. Like, the sides just come away. Just use better glue, Ravensburger. Jeez, even that would help.
Yeah, I think from a purely like financial perspective, it's like they're going to do the minimum, whatever costs the cheapest, and provides the most security for the buyer. So it's like a holographic sort of like thing. It's like, I think that the price point on that per box is probably too high for what they would do.
It's just going into profit, right?
Yeah, there's a balance. It's like Disney, multi-billion-dollar company. The people are gonna buy it anyways, because it's Disney.
Yeah.
But capitalism, though. So it's like, how do we make this as cheap as possible without it being crap?
Well, I think it's also tough, because I know, there's people that know more about this than I do, but I know there's a lot of laws being passed in random states, state laws about plastic, So I think, Ravensburger is trying to be like more eco-friendly and get away from that. But at the same time, it's just, you have to secure the product. I mean, every single time someone buys a box, they shouldn't be biting their fingernails like, oh my gosh, am I actually going to get what I paid for? And I think, I understand being eco, like, God bless turtles. Like, I totally get it, but like, I want to get what I'm buying too, And I think that has to be first and foremost as a company, is making sure your customers, for me, buyer confidence. If buyer confidence isn't there, like, a hobby can't exist. Like, you have to make sure that people are comfortable with what they're getting first and foremost.
Yeah. It's interesting. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, it's interesting, at Gamma Expo, when Ravensburger announced that they weren't doing shrink wrap and they were doing this pull tab system, there were a lot of people who felt like this was going to be a lot
people
more...
applauded.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot more secure than the shrink wrap. And I think it wasn't until we all saw the boxes at Gen Con and the lack of the glue situation that it was like, oh, wait, this isn't you know,
it can be done pretty well. If you look at like a Magic pre-release box, for instance, they use a pull tab, and they're pretty hard to get into without breaking that, because it's an interior box with a surrounding wrap that's got the pull tab on. So it's pretty tough to get into one of those. But this is like. Yeah, it's like, you see the memes sometimes where people took like a picture of like a farm gate and there's a bolt and it's not actually doing anything,
Yeah, you might as well just put the packs in the same cardboard like cutouts that Happy Meals are in at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally like it's the most flimsy stuff I ever felt. So it's just, if you're gonna go with a pull tab, that's great, but just make sure the box itself can't just be like picked apart with one finger.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think it's a problem.
Frank, do you mind if I just pull you back around to the original point that Liam, he kind of threw a few things at you, so it's fair that you missed it. What have you seen like regarding this early singles market compared to other games? Is it playing out how you'd expect? Is it surprising you? Or?
It's weird, man. Like, so I'm gonna be honest with you. So I'm not a huge TCG guy. So this is the first TCG that I've really been involved in since like 2001, like early Pokemon days. So, but for me, like, I'll say this from a purely scamming standpoint, which I know is the topic that we were initially discussing. I haven't seen more scammers in a hobby, like not Funko, not sealed video games, not any sports, like nothing more than like what I'm seeing right now. It's absolutely crazy. It's like every single time someone messages, I wouldn't say every time, but like a lot of times that someone messages me, it's like it's reporting a scammer. And I just think it's a perfect recipe of like new collectors, naivety, and just, people wanting to capitalize in really crappy ways, So, yeah, I think that like, unless there's references, I wouldn't buy and sell with anybody. Like people have to really be on top of things. And I think that's scary. It's also interesting because just from a market standpoint, what I'm seeing is that, especially with like the enchanted cards, I'm seeing really weird trends where like I think, at a $200 to $400 price point, you can still put an enchanted card inside of a deck as a flex and play it, And then I think once like Elsa hits 600 to 700, it's like the audience almost shifts where it's like people aren't, the audience does, becomes collectors and not so much people looking to build a deck with it. And it's interesting seeing those jumps where it's like one day, people are building a deck with a card, and the next day people are purely collecting it. And it's like, it's a really weird dichotomy of the market really shifting the audience that the cards appeal to almost overnight. It's fascinating to watch.
It's been absolutely fascinating. One of the things I've been watching for a few weeks now is that the enchanteds are starting to come down, and the playable cards are starting to go up, and I'm just waiting for that to happen. I'm just waiting for Rapunzel to come up above like the Artful Rogue Mickey Enchanted or something.
For sure.
I'd be very interested to see if it happens, or whether the Enchanteds will always hold the value just purely down as a rarity thing or not.
Yeah. And just to tie this all together, in regards to Enchanteds and, scams, I haven't seen very many scams in regards to individual cards. Almost every single scam, like without fail, is related to a box or a trove or like, blisters. I haven't seen many single scams. Like, it's really strange. I don't know why that is. It might just be because the boxes have issues and people are capitalizing on that. But I mean, literally like 90%, and I'm just spitballing, but like 9 out of 10 times I see a scam, it's related to a box or a trove or a blister. It's really strange. I haven't seen an Elsa scam or any of the other enchanted cards like really like be the basis of a scam for the most part.
And is that when you say scam, because there's like a few different ways it can happen, right? One, they could just not have any product at all and they're just trying to take the money.
Yeah.
Or it could be, opened and resealed product or whatever. So are you seeing more of one than the other, do you think? Or
the biggest scam that I'm seeing is fake timestamps lately. I'm seeing people Photoshop timestamps to pretend that they have something that they don't. And I haven't seen that very much with single cards, only boxes for the most part.
Okay.
It's
interesting.
It's interesting. It's really interesting. Yeah. And that might just be because I think people in general are more excited about boxes than they are enchanteds even. I'm not really sure. But yeah, it's not really anything but boxes and sealed product that's the basis of someone photoshopping a timestamp or pretending they have something or whatever. Yeah. It's strange.
For me, it's this is all normal. I've seen this happen a lot. Going on to piggyback on top of that, as far as like how the market is working in terms of sealed product, I personally would not recommend buying any sealed product right now up until the reprint in November, because Disney wants to get that out before for the holiday season. Right now, because basically we have card game comes out, product goes mega high. We have the scalpers, we have the collectors, we have the people that genuinely want the game, and then we have standard people that are just mildly interested. And this is like peak height of value for any sealed product. And then over time, you're going to see that go down, and then it will probably taper off at some point. And that's when you start to see singles go into like their regular meta prices for things like gameplay, etc. Whereas the chase cards, the mega shiny ones, will either hold value, or if more of the same product gets re-released, those will drop slightly, but usually stay the same. And that's when you can go and grade them and things like that. The reason why product is being peddled so much in as like an opening up to scams and things like that is because we're still up here at the top of the trough. We're at the top of the roller coaster right here. So everyone's trying to get that. So it's a lot easier to move. So once we start seeing the downturn of the market is when that demand for the sealed product gets a lot lower and lower. It's just right now, give it maybe another month or so, and it'll probably lower until another reprint comes out of the same set. And then that will go away somewhat. And then you'll start seeing more scams and things like that for specifically singles.
For singles, yeah, because you'll have like all the pump and dumpers move on, and also the people who like just get fed up of not being able to get anything will move on, and it sort of starts to level itself out. I will say, we're not just for like just to be a pedant, and so that people know what's coming. The reprint is going to be Q1 next year. What we're going to be receiving in October is a restock to game stores of already produced product. It isn't much. We're getting about a fifth of what we got originally. So don't expect that to really make waves. It'll probably affect the market as much as the big box store supply did, which was very little. Depending on how much they can get behind them and how well they can deal with Cardamundi and stuff, I think the Q1 reprint will have more of an effect on everything.
And also by then One Piece.
Too. Yeah, exactly. So but then I'll be honest with you, our original Romance Dawn reprint, we got like 2 more boxes. It was like
just 2.
It might well as not.
It's all we got.
Really, it was nothing. So, but yeah, you're right. This is TCG 101. There, this is just how they go. Unfortunately, there's never enough, and
and it does present a problem towards people that genuinely do want to get their hands on the product because either the price is too high and people have to mark it up just to contain it, so they just don't run out, so they can keep business and interest in their game. It's a hard balance because LGSs want to be able to make as much money as possible because they're a small business, but also they want to make it accessible to people so they can keep coming in to buy the product. If, let's say, a game is too slow bringing out their product, in this case, it depends on how small Disney comes out with the October, November season of this little itty bitty bit of remainder product, or reserves, essentially. It can create a lot of animosity, and it can actually kill a game. I'm serious. I've seen it before where it can literally make people upset. It can make stores upset. It can result in stores not buying your product again because it's just gonna. What's the point if no one's playing? If no one's coming in to play it?
Yeah, I mean, it can also go the other way though. Is if they reprint too much of it, and then suddenly all these people who make collections, the price bottoms out of it, and that really that's what happened with. Oh God, what was the Star Wars game that had the dice?
Destiny.
Destiny, that killed Destiny. They reprinted too much, and it completely bottomed out, and everyone was like,
what's the point of going to the local game stores to buy product or singles if I already have it?
It's not worth anything now.
Go
ahead.
Conversation. No, that's okay. We have to move on to our giveaway for this week.
We could talk all night.
We could, yes. It sounds like you have a few people here.
Be quiet, everybody! Free stuff.
We do, and we've done so for everybody who's here just for that, and not to hear our wonderful guests, although if you are, we've done that annoying content creator thing where we've pushed the giveaway all the way to the end. So you had to stay for the whole thing. It was inadvertent. We didn't want to leave people in the green room. But all right, so we're gonna make this easy. The first person to answer this question correctly in the chat wins this card. It's a work together signed by Disney animator Peter Raimondo, who worked on The Emperor's New Groove, so it's appropriate, and he will probably be at Miami TCG Con. And so this is a two-part question. I'm going to show you a picture. And the two parts of this question are, one, what is this location? And it'll make sense when you see it. And two, what culture is responsible for creating it? And if you're live and your microphones are on, you can't say it. You gotta.
Is this the part where we tell them to smash that bell button?
Yes, please. Smash that. Alpaca is. I mean,
it is one. Is it?
Oh, we have an answer. Yeah. No, that's wait. No, sorry,
Tanya got it. Yeah, there you go.
Got it. Yeah, that's Machu Picchu, and it's the Incan culture. Yeah. So for those who don't know, this is in Peru, where Juan Diego Leon is from, and where Emperor's New Groove is based. And the team who created Emperor's New Groove actually visited Machu Picchu for inspiration. And Pacha's village in the movie is based on this location, and it is Incan. So yeah, I think Tanya, you were the first.
That's great. I don't know if I'd have got that. I knew it was Machu Picchu, but I don't think I could have come up with Incan off the top of my head. That's good. Yeah. Some good knowledge, Tanya. Good job.
quick on the draw. So great. All right. So we'll Tanya, you've got my contact information. Send me a note, and we'll get this off to you. And yeah. So that's our show this week. We try to keep it an hour. We seldom do. But for everyone, before we say goodbye, Jonti, your contact information is pretty much up there. But how can people follow your channel?
Yes, I'm at what am I? I'm at Lorcana Inkwell, I think it is. If you just search Inkwell on YouTube, I'm starting to come up. I'm still like seconds to an old Michael Jackson movie, but I'm there on the front at least.
Now, congratulations, you made it.
Yeah, just underneath Michael Jackson. That's a good thing going on.
Well, when Illumineers is never going to top.
Do you still get the what's the British band, the Lumineers? Yeah,
every time. Every time.
Goddamn Lumineers.
I know. Anyway, Ellen, for your stream, and how can people connect with you?
So most of my handles are at Pellen101, Pellen 101. But I also do other things. I need to get back into streaming, which is most likely next month, like I said. And as far as other things where you find me, I do a lot of collaborative work with various clients. Right now, it's Gemtech accessories. So I make all of these. So I usually make all the artwork for those. You can find them at Gemtech Accessories on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter/X. And our website, gemtechaccessoriesUS.com. And then I also have my own website as well, but there's usually a link tree.
Send us the links. We'll put them in the description so people can get to it. And Frank, I know you're not a content creator per se, but I just want to plug you real quick. I want you to describe your group. And then, for those who don't, like, Frank is not only a collector and an admin of the group, but I've never seen anybody go to you for questions about how to interact with somebody in the marketplace, advice on pricing, anything without you being super helpful and responsive. You're one of the most service community oriented collectors I've ever run across, and I appreciate that.
So. Thank you, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not good at plugging myself like everyone else here, but I try to be helpful. I like building communities, and I think Lorcana is awesome because it's like seeing something grow from the ground up. So. So if my Instagram is at @GrailMonster. That's pretty much the only plug I have. I am not really a content creator. I just collect expensive things, and I love Lorcana. So
Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Yeah, until next week. Sign off.
Sign
Sign
off,
off catchphrase.